minutes at a time, which is certainly tough for a slower character, like a slow in the air, at least compared to Chrom. It's tough for them to deal with. And then we're immediately going to see him swap back to the Diddy against this Sephiroth. Might as well try and play this matchup, and let's see if we can watch Rivers exploit some of the bigger troubles that Sephiroth can have with a shorter character like Diddy Kong and that Transcendent Banana, or if Tweek will find ways to poke holes in Rivers' own disadvantage and take the set. This is a best of 5, by the way, so let's get winners finals started.
You know, they do say that Ultimate is a counter-picker's game, and right here we got Rivers out here showing it. Like you mentioned, the Chrom being shelved away in favor of the Diddy Kong. Likely a better matchup, for sure. Diddy can low-profile some of what Sephiroth has the banana, so he can sort of deal with the Sephiroth at the mid-range a lot better. Sephiroth is the kind of character where if you're not safe mashing, which a character like Chrom, as we just saw as that beautiful 2-0 against Pawn Master displayed, in the right matchup and in the right hands, safe aggressive mash can do it. But with a character who's got as set play as amazing and frankly is out of shield as amazing with that neutral air as Sephiroth, it only makes sense to see the Diddy Kong here instead.
Yeah, the unsafe banana pole gets thrown off by the Mega Flare. That's always it's a simple mix-up, whether or not you throw the Mega Flare or charge fully to the Giga Flare, but it is something that characters that have a little bit of setup while off stage, you can force them to respect or even use that air dodge early. Sephiroth definitely wants you to do, especially with that wing on deck, but we haven't even seen the wing. We've just seen Tweek's own control with the banana. DC drops out of shield much faster than Nair. It's fully utilizing it thanks to getting ample time to recover these bananas. And Rivers now has to make the most out of this edge guard if he doesn't want to let Tweek run away with this game 1.
Going to do it right there. Neutral reset. Once again here, Sephiroth firmly in the lead, going for a raw down smash option, thinking he's going to catch Rivers' approach. Makes sense to go for that there. Both players seem to be getting a little antsy. Rivers recognizing that, though, and hanging back just a little bit longer with no banana in hand either, but now he's got it out here. Oh my god, both these players are just respecting each other so much. Both afraid to commit for sure, but the only difference is one of them is up a stock, and my man Tweek already got so much insurance and even more, taking the stock up 3-1 in stocks on this first game. Ooh, but it's looking good for the hometown Sephiroth.
Oh yeah, and it's only getting better if you're a Sephiroth fan. Watching Tweek start to move a little bit, start to get everything together, not deciding not to go to ledge. I'll just blade charge back on stage, and you still have to respect the constant hitboxes and these quick little snaps. Lord. But yeah, there's the barrels.
Yeah, you know, it makes sense. He had enough time to do that from the position that he was in, and you know, he was just high enough by the ledge where even after controlling the barrels to kill Tweek, he would have been able to make it back, as you just saw. You know, that's something that you always need to keep in mind with when you're fighting Rivers. Is that grab on the monkey flip was crazy. That's something you always have to keep in mind against Rivers, man. When you hit him out of that barrel pack, you know, like he literally has practiced using that to kill people after he gets hit out of it. He does that better than pretty much any Diddy Kong in the game, so definitely something to keep in mind when you're fighting against him.
Okay, just run up and down smash. I really like how Tweek mixes in some really hard committing dash ins and then allowing himself to get that space and gain that threat so that his dashbacks become that much more powerful. I mean, we'll see it with the final stock here, but there was many a chance, I think even with the second stock, he'll dash in, he'll go for these pivot cancel F tilts, he'll go for this stuff that is meant to cover a lot of space, and as soon as he does that, then he'll begin to dash dance and dash away and force you to try and take that space back from a Sephiroth who's faster than you in a lot of matchups, and more importantly, has more range than you, pretty much always.
Yeah, it's the definition of set play, my friend. This character, you know, will just cover 1 or 2 options, and then we'll just be there on deck to cover the third off of, you know, just reaction whenever that set play is done. It's like, I remember when a lot of people thought Sephiroth was bad at the beginning and they thought he was too clunky, and as we all know, they were just pretty much playing him wrong as that went around for sure, because we know what this character can do in the right hands. Small Battlefield is the pick for this second game coming around. A stage pick like this, I gotta be honest, I'm kind of curious about it. I'm kind of curious as to why Rivers would want less space to deal with a set play character like Sephiroth for sure. Like, dealing with side B is going to be so much harder now. I feel like he's going to get hit by a lot more of those if he's not careful. So maybe he just likes the platform placement a little better. But I got to be honest, off the top of my head, if you held a gun to my head, if you held a peanut pop gun to my head right now and asked me why Rivers decided to go to this stage, not going to lie, I'm not really sure. Oh. See what I mean? Like, he didn't get hit by 4 of those in the last game.
It's a lot of stacks for sure, but when you're going to play against Sephiroth in a lot of regard, you're trying to make things like fair and bare useless. There are frame 13 and 15 moves, and Tweek has Rivers has options with Diddy Kong to make those moves feel too slow. He just needs to find the space to get in, and he needs to force Tweek's movement to be a lot more confined. So I can understand why he was trying to go to a smaller stage, but while fair and bare may be less useful, things like Nair and up air will start to be even more useful. On top with Wing on deck, yeah, it's time to shake my head.
Yeah, you know, but it's funny that you mentioned that, though, because we are seeing Rivers, like, try to ledge trap this Sephiroth just a little bit more. And, you know, sometimes those platforms can make your landings a little bit more linear, but as you just saw Tweek do right there, they can sometimes be used as a quick escape option out of disadvantage. And only a character like Diddy, if he doesn't have Banana in hand, he might not be quick enough to be able to cover that. So that's the one thing I'm worried about him on a small stage like this, being able to cover that space, is him just sort of getting overwhelmed a little bit more, which is what I imagine Rivers is trying to do to the Sephiroth, ironically enough.
Yeah. Always having Banana in hand is kind of the matchup for Diddy as on a large scale, but on a small scale, you might want to try and not even risk throwing Banana in some of these cases. Just go for some of these Z-drop aerials and get in Tweek's face. Because if Tweek's allowed to gain control of Banana, suddenly your game plan just goes from you're finding slim openings to, geez, what do you even do? But finding that grab, getting a quick 44, it does not take much to kill Sephiroth, especially if you get one of these big conversions of the quickest of down smash, especially hiding under that platform. Perfect spot in order to catch that landing.
Yeah, Tweek really knows how to pick and choose his moments when it comes to utilization of down smash. I feel like most of the time when he's gone for that move, which by itself is pretty high risk, high reward in and of itself, it's a pretty laggy move. He has hit it. That's the down air, not going to take the stock right there, but it's interesting to see him do it because, and I don't even feel like this is because, you know, Tweek also plays Diddy Kong. It's because, like, you know, he's seeing where Rivers is placing the Banana wherever it's on the ground, and he knows, okay, this is the kind of situation where Rivers thinks he's going to have enough space and time to be able to pick up that Banana again and try to quickly hit it at me back from the mid-range. So I'm just going to pop back right here from a safe distance because it's a crazy long-ranged move in down smash, and I'm just going to let it rip exactly where the Banana is.
There he was throwing the up air, kind of expecting the high recovery and expecting the challenge as well, but the active F tilt looking pretty good for Rivers. If he wants to try and give himself an opportunity, now would be the time, but with Wing on deck, it becomes that much harder to try and find that hit that matters on Sephiroth. But hey, there it is on the roll read, or the roll setup, but yeah, that do be Sephiroth up tilt. Surprisingly active, and it's mimicking Snake up tilt in a lot of ways, because that boy will kill.
Yeah, I was just gonna... Oh, let me turn that alarm off. I was just gonna say, like, that move stays out for, and I've studied this a lot, so, like, this is a pretty technical term. I'm sure some people won't understand it. A lot of frames. Like, a lot of the big number frames. It actually scoops right in front of him, as you saw, which right on the respawn makes perfect sense. That was actually really the perfect time for Tweek to use that move. No risk. He still has his Angel platform respawn invincibility on the way back down, and Rivers needs to do some sort of option to not get hit and die at 160, so he decided to buffer an evasive one in the roll to constantly mix up what he does on the way back. Tweek knows how this game works, so he expected it, as the back air is not going to do it, but the Nair is going to keep that onslaught going with the up B from Chrom saving Rivers' life.
And I mean, There's nothing more natural as the Rivers counterpicking to Town and City, but unfortunately this is a very good stage for Sephiroth as well, who can mix up how aggressive or not aggressive he wants to be at the drop of a hat, and that's the type of aggression that you gain when you're allowed to move so much. Rivers is expecting Tweek to kind of start dashing around. Okay, dashing a little too much it seems, trying to get a little bit too fancy with the waveland on the platform. And SD's because of it, giving Rivers another lease on life, though that's a lot of Shadow Flare.
Wow, that's a lot of damage in the back air. Oh my goodness, Rivers' own counterpick working against him. The tiny, tiny horizontal blast zones of Town and City going against him here. It's very interesting here because I feel like all the set play and the aggressive play, I should say now, from Tweek would have worked wonders on a stage like Small Battlefield. But again, this is a different character this time around. We are focusing on the Chrom this time around, not the Diddy, saying I want to adapt and try this crush down playstyle here. Because my man here, Tweek, just seems to know just too much about Diddy for mine to even be able to do anything on him regardless of the counterpick right here. Rivers, though, he loves this stage. So let's just see what he can do on it if he's able to stay alive.
And there's that crisp movement to get him out of the range of Sephiroth's up air. If you see that move with, you can get a pretty big punish as long as you're prepared to do so. But that's where the mix of Nair and these upward angle F tilts, just all of these anti-airs to avoid Chrom's movement. Just missing the... Yeah, it's huge. Just narrowly missing the read on the roll in. Look to try and get that into Sephiroth. Look to try and bait it in and then punish, but a little bit too late, and it causes the demise of Rivers in that Game 3. A 3-0, and I don't think any of those games were not a 2-stock.
Yeah, it was definitely a rough one to see. I mean, he's been using up tilt a lot more to sort of negate approaches, which is definitely a smart thing for Sephiroth to do. Like I said, that move stays out for quite some time. And then he was up a whole stock. Why not just run off with the forward air, see if I can poke him right there. Where the sun don't shine. That's it. Gonna do it for Rivers down to the losers bracket. Tweek up to grand finals as seeded. Makes sense. It makes sense that he didn't want, like, the rushdown playstyle of Chrom because of how crazy that Sephiroth's out of shield can be, on top of the fact that, you know, he can keep you at bay with just the snap on the side B.